After close to 2 decades later, we get the next installment of this franchise. Was it needed though? Mm, Welcome, guys. Welcome to Blazing Blockbusters. I'm your host, AJ, and we're here to review 28 Years Later. And as I mentioned, guys, this is the third installment of this series. We had 28 Days Later, then it was 28 Weeks Later, which was in 2007, and now we have 28 Years Later. I still believe that, 28 Days Later, where we have Cillian Murphy playing the lead role, is still the best. And this is directed by Danny Boyle. He's coming back. And the main question was, is this following the true timeline of the prequels? And I believe it is. But in one of the interviews, he did mention that, yeah, 28 weeks later happened, but it's not going to play a significant role for this, movie. Basically saying that the first spot is the main and now we're here, right? Overall, my initial reaction was, look, as a guy who's watched the other parts, I kind of liked it in a way. By no means perfect, but for the general audience who hasn't watched the previous parts, who's not used to the directing sequences of Danny Boyle, I'm not sure if y'all are gonna like this movie. Mainly because the way how he directs the whole, sequencing, the cinematography, as well as the creepy kind of sound effects that's building up to a couple of scenes is something different and unique. And unless you're used to that, this is not for you. But in my opinion, I don't think that's the main reason on why it was more of a 50-50 in my mind. It's more, I truly believe they had two scripts in mind and they combined the two. They wanted to have Aaron Taylor Johnson's storyline and with whatever he does. But we also have this other piece with the kid who honestly plays a pivotal and a great role. And the way how the current world is, as keep in mind, this is still in the apocalyptic world and it's again sticking to the Great Britain and UK and how things have evolved and how things have changed over the past 3 decades. You see, there's multiple components for this storyline and they've just meshed them together. And I feel that's the main negative in my mind is that whole flow of events doesn't make sense sometimes. And a couple of storyline plots is kind of questionable. And I'm like, why was that even done? Was it needed? I mean, it's just thrown at you. You're kind of confused about a couple of instances and a couple of plots that take place. But I've got to mention and give a huge shout out and credit to the kid. Y'all might assume that Aaron Taylor Johnson is probably the lead anchor of this movie. No, he's not. It's the kid Spike, played by Alfie Williams. I honestly feel he took this movie in his own hands and rode with it. That's a huge responsibility for a 14-year-old to take on. But I think he was the standout in my eyes and he delivered on his emotions, the way how he's processing things, because he's still trying to figure out how we deal with this world that he is in. He's isolated. He doesn't know about all the technology, all the advances being made. He's totally in isolation in this whole new world and he's put into this training component, which is pretty cool. And the hunting and the prep and the way how he faces a lot of issues and problems. That was really good, right? Now, the whole Aaron Taylor Johnson, I mean, yeah, he's there. Didn't have much of an impact in my eyes. It was just probably the first half had a lot of relevance in his storyline. And after that, it was all about Spike and the mother. But again, keep in mind, these folks, there's a small village, isolated village or island. I'm going to call it an island. And then you have the mainlands where you have all the zombies. And the main difference, at least in my mind, is we have different types of zombies now because they've just like how the humans have evolved and they're practiced and they know how to deal with the infected. Zombies, on the other hand, has also, I wouldn't say perfected it, but evolved into figuring out on how you can either escape or get at you. So I like the way how they had different types because you have the slower ones, you have the fast ones, and then now we have alphas there, which is damn, it's crazy. And keep in mind, in my mind, those are R-rated because you have a lot of nudity going on. So just keep that in mind as when you watch it. Don't be surprised because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a whole lot of gory, bloody, but also nudity in this piece. And there's a couple of scenes I'm like, wow. They went there. The other standout, at least this is probably just me, I really like, he was just there for a short period of time. Eric, the Scottish guy. Banter between him, Spike, and the mother, pure gold. Because you have one guy who knows about all the technology, knows about the present day, the way how things are. And on the other hand, Spike has no clue about what a phone is, what the internet is, and that whole component was just gold. But again, it was short-lived because of various reasons. I can't mention that. We have Mr. Ralph, aka Voldemort, as Dr. Ian. All I'm gonna say is I know he was kind of a good eccentric guy, but don't go to him. He if you want to die, yeah, sure, go to him, but he ain't a doctor. He's a collector of sorts, and he has his own kind of mini museum that he wants to have in his own way. So yeah, don't just don't go to that guy is all I'm gonna say. But outside of that, I kind of like the iteration of this movie, not fully to the extent of how 28 Days Later was. There was a lot of inconsistencies, and the way how it ended was also kind of, I was scratching my head. To me, the reason on why I liked it is because after a long gap, we've got something for the series and franchise that I liked with Cillian Murphy. And yes, there is the shortest cameo of Cillian Murphy, which is, I'm like, I missed the dude, but it is what it is. But in terms of recommendation, guys, I strongly believe you can wait for this to come on your streaming platform and you can watch this at your home instead of going to the theater. You're not going to miss out on a lot. That's how I felt while I walked out of the theater as well. And yeah, for the folks who watched 28 Years Later, what did you guys think? Did you like it a lot more than me? Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.